going to be talking about the importance of your trading journal. So ito, more on the foundation of why it's really important to have one. And then in the next lesson, Kahane will be teaching us about how to actually do it, right? So I think we all know what a trading journal is at this point. It's a place where you log your trades. You can do it, well, syempre, back in the past, people would do it pen and paper. You can use an Excel sheet, or you can use the stuff on Investagrams. We have a new feature which I'll show later called the Investor Portfolio. We have our old feature called the Investor Journal, where you can log your trades there. But why should you even journal in the first place? When I was thinking of the answer to this question, I have my own answer, pero I think it's best that I read this out to you guys. It's a quote from Jesse Livermore, right? Arguably one of the greatest traders of all time. Where in the book Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, sabi niya, I'll read it out, diba? So it's emotionally difficult to review your mistakes since the speculator must wade through his own bad trades and blunders. And these are not just simple blunders, these are blunders that cost money. Anyone who has lost money by investing poorly knows how difficult it is to re-examine what occurred. The examination of a losing trade is torturous but necessary, right? But necessary to ensure that it will not happen again. So my understanding of this when I read it before was there when you're trying to do your trading journal, obviously you're trying to keep track of your records, track of your performance. But other than that, the most important reason to journal, in my opinion, is really to try and see the patterns of your trading, right? And not just the patterns whenever you're doing good. Kasi ang dali lang mag-journal pag puro ganito nakikita mo. So, I took some screenshots of my old journal back when I was still a student. And ang dali lang, di ba? Pag ganito yung puro winning streak ka, tapos, di ba, kumikita ka na kumikita, ang dali lang tignan yung trades mo. Because when you're doing your journal, you don't just look at numbers. Of course, you want to look back at the trade itself. You want to see how you executed. And it's so easy, diba? Oh, I did this. I bought this at my grade A setup. The market was good. But people don't want to journal when shit hits the fan, right? When things like this happen, when you go on a really bad losing streak, you have one win, but you have like 5 losses in between them. Ang sakit. And if you guys can imagine, I was still a student at the time and experiencing, diba, all of these losses. Ang sakit, diba? Ang hirap. But you know what I realized was ito yung pinaka-important time na mag-journal. Diba? When I kasi when you look at this, you're like, oh, okay, I had a series of losses. Okay, ingatan ko na lang next time, or I'll cut my losses smaller. Very vague or very surface level. You don't really see the patterns of your mistakes by simply just look at it. Okay, I went on a losing streak. I should probably cut my losses smaller. Right? Because in the first place, itong mga losses ko dito, besides the one that yung sa MB, nagpang 5K loss ko at the time, all of these were 1 VAR or less loss or smaller, if I'm not mistaken. Ano naman siya, within the risk management parameters, but I needed to drill down more kung bakit ba tuloy-tuloy, di ba? Bakit ba ganito yung nangyari? And yun yung importance sa pag-journal. So I went back, I have this trading diary which I write on every month, every quarter, where I kind of do a relook on my trades. And this was para my realizations, diba? Actually, it was really long, parang essay yung sinulat ko, pero parang ito yung main stuff, no? So number one is, if I took out all the big losses, parang this was for the entire year 2019 ata. If I took out all of the big losses on time na to, because 2019 was a difficult year for me, my P&L would have actually been plus 6 digits. So it's not even it's not even taking out the forced trades. Meron pang forced trades, but if I just took out the big losses, yung mga above, I think above 3% VAR or 5% VAR na loss, if I simply took those out or kept them at 1 VAR, yung P&L ko would have diba, skyrocketed much higher than it was. Next was yung mga greed-based unsystematic scale-ins never work. Dati kasi I would get really emotional, and whenever I'm at a big win, instead of parang selling portions on the way up, parang ay shit, ito na. Bobombahin ko na to. So walang plano, I would just keep buying more. And more likely than not, even if I would close the trade on a gain, parang net loss pa rin yung approach kapag ganito ako mag-scale in. And then after a big winner, an inevitable losing streak would happen. That's actually what happened here. If my memory serves me right, I made a big win in tech nung prior to this losing streak, kasi a really big win, and then almost siguro 1/4 or less than half naman ng profits nawala in a span of a week kasi or a week or two kasi nga trade ako ng trade tas wala naman sa system. And then a lot of negative things happen when I woke up late. So that's a nuance that I can't see that if I'm just looking at this, diba? I needed to go back and look at the charts. Okay, I remember this was a trade na hindi ako nagising ng 9:30 noon, diba? Noong nag-trade pa ako ng PSE. And then, yun, I barely had a risk-first mindset. Puro upside iniisip ko. Maraming wait lang moments, meaning, I wouldn't cut my losses agad. I'd be like, okay, antayin ko lang, or hindi ako bibili ka agad. So I missed out opportunities kasi I'm overthinking it. So these are things that you don't see, right? If you just trade and trade and trade and trade and you don't keep your records, right? These are important lessons that you don't learn through a book. It's important lessons that you learn through experiencing the market firsthand. And these are things that, I still remember up to this day, especially after a big winner, an inevitable losing streak would happen. That hasn't happened to me in a while. Because, I am now mindful, I'm aware of it, I'm consciously aware of it. Now, okay, after I have a big win, I need to, maybe calm down a little bit and remember and just parang refocus myself na, okay, ingat lang. Kasi may tendency ka to go too hard, right? Kapag nananalo ka. And ayun, parang yun talaga yung importance right? Nung journaling, right? And while you're at it, if you may be wondering, like I mentioned a while ago, we have a new feature called the Investa Portfolio, right? So one of the things you have to do, of course, parang yung pinaka baseline before even tracking the numbers, if you have to track your portfolio. You have to track your portfolio, you have to track your allocation, you have to track your P&L curve, you have to track your transactions, and you can do that for free on the Investa Portfolio. So this is a new feature that we put out, and you can actually sync, right, your Binance portfolio in the Investa Portfolio. So you can see all of your transactions, your P&L curve, portfolio allocation. Pwede rin PSE, pero PSE manual pa muna. Manual input tong mga positions mo. Pero sa Binance, parang you can sync it there. There's a process to do that. And this is 100% free for all of our users. So, ayun. So, once you sync everything, you'll see your P&L curve, you'll see your allocation, your best performer, worst performer, your stats. You have a quick overview of all of your positions, and you also have parang the full list of your historical transactions, assuming that sa Binance naman, pag sinink mo, andun na lahat Pero sa PSA yun, medyo mano-mano pa. It may take some time. No, so this is all free because we want you guys to be able to track your portfolio, so track your performance at least at this baseline level. And then, of course, we have the Investor Journal, which kind of has similar features to the Investor Portfolio, but here you can track your ito naman yung Investor Journal. It's for our Investor Prime subscribers, but aside from the things I showed a while ago, it's a journal. Meron din kasi mga analytics. So you have things like your win rate, right? Your burn rate, your edge ratio, profitability, expectancy, accuracy. So all of these different numbers that you can keep track on, right? And of course, you also can have your own strategies. Yeah, you can track your own strategies. So ito yung mga strategies ko noon, diba? So Toma breakout, Toma bounce, Toma may Toma FOMO pa kapag mali ginagawa ko, I target as that. Pero yeah, but I want to go back to this slide because again, this is the most important one, right? After going through all of your trades, right, the most important part about doing your journal, your trading journal, aside from of course analyzing the numbers, because that's important as well. You really want, for me, after I look at the numbers, I always want to do a qualitative study on the patterns of my behavior in the markets because that's where the biggest learning is for me. Right? And I guess this is something I think I got this from Javi a few years ago when he said that you cannot improve what you do not measure. I heard this first from him and I really took that to heart. Right? Everything has to be systematic, numbers based. And di ka talaga makaka-improve if syempre di mo binabantayan, if di mo tinatrack. So ayun, that's the reason why we need to do our trading journal. We need to monitor our portfolio. So again, the Investor Portfolio, that's free for all of our users. You can just check it out on our website, Investagrams.com. And that's it for this video.